again, everybody, and welcome back to Fujit's Blitz. Now, this is the second part of my driving school series, the light tanks, part 1, the basics. Now, a lot of people do struggle in light tanks, to be perfectly honest with you, mainly because they don't understand its 3 main points. That is mobility, camouflage, and how to spot. So, I thought I would break this down and we'll look at the lower tiers first in part 1, and then we'll move up to the bigger tiers. The thing about light tanks is this: because they're so mobile, people think that they just need to just YOLO and die. A couple of things about light tanks. They're light tanks because of a fundamental reason. They have 0 armor, realistically. You are going to be penned by most things, and it's going to be pretty difficult for you to bounce. This is what makes them so quick. That means you can't use them in a front line capacity. You've got to use the mobility of a light tank to the fullest effect, because if you don't, you will get wrecked. It's that simple. You see in most of the game, everybody shouts lights or meds spot. Meds is a little bit different, and that's a different series. In lights, that's not as simple as it sounds, because people think that by spotting you've got to rush off into the middle of the map and see everybody, and therefore you're targeted immediately and you get wasted. That's not how you spot. We'll come to that element shortly, but first let's talk about this mobility. Now, because lights are so mobile, they are able to do things like this. They're able to get around the back of TDs and effectively circle to death them. Generally, lights don't have amazing penetration. Their guns are a bit smaller, but they do dish out a fast reload. Once you've got into a position with a light tank, the idea is get out of there. As you can see in this particular video, I'm going to struggle with this M7. I'm finding it difficult to pen him. He's penning me easily because I'm a light tank. I have to use my mobility, get around him, and then all of a sudden he's a lot easier for me to pen. But I lost a lot of hit points there. Same goes with the Electo. He's going to come in. I need to get out of dodge. I need to get away from the big gun thing at the front. And because he's a fixed gun, I just need to get round the back using that mobility. And there you go. This is what you need to do in a light tank, guys. You need to use its mobility. Not just to get you into trouble, but also to get you out of trouble and to do things like this. Once you've learned how to do this, then light tanks don't seem so traumatic in certain instances. However, this is only one part of a bigger picture concerning light tanks. The next part of the package is the camouflage. Now, you've probably heard from some of the other well-known CCs, such as Martin Dogger, Meaty69, Bushka, or even Amunet, that the camo profile on a light tank is no different moving forward or whatever to being stationary. In fact, it's exactly the same. That means the mobility and camouflage of these tanks allow you to do exactly what I'm doing here, which is run around this battlefield and try and spot everything up, which is exactly what I've done. I have now spotted almost the entire red team. They're all in their spawn. Now, before I did that, I checked the team profile, and I realized that there are a lot of quite heavy tanks in there, like KV2s, etc., etc. I therefore hazard a guess that they were going to be in a particular area. I then, because I know this map, knew the best place for me to go around and then make sure that I had sufficient cover. I use my camouflage profile and mobility. Now I'm out of there. I've done a complete circle of the map. And if you look on the mini-map, all the reds are now on the mini-map. So it's as simple as that. They've all been spotted up. So I'm now going to go back, and we've already taken out a red team. I haven't fired a single shot yet. But what I have done is assisted my team in showing them where all the red tanks are. That's important. This is how you spot. I didn't go rushing into them. I didn't try and shoot any of them. My intention was just to spot them so my team could see where they were. Now I'm going to take a few pop shots at this one because I've got a bit of decent cover here and I can do that. He's not really focused on me. He's focused on my teammates over the other side. This allows me to take a few shots into him. They've already lost 2 tanks. Now they've lost 3 tanks. Because I know where they all are, because I spotted them, it makes it much easier for me to find a good position where I'm protected. Now don't forget, my camo profile is pretty high, and it's no different when I move. When I shoot, however, it's a different kettle of fish. I can be seen. There you go. I've been seen by the KV2, but the KV2 is still in my sights. I am spotting him up for everybody else on my team. If they decide to utilize that as another kettle of fish, however, I mean, we've now lost a tank, but they've lost 5. There's only 2 tanks left. This now allows me to go running in and again use my mobility to the maximum. I can get in there, probably behind this KV2, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to between the KV2 and the KV2, get behind the KV2, go up the hill because I know he's on a long reload, and there we go. Very quick game, less than 3 minutes. That is how you spot. Now, I didn't do exceptional damage there, just 1,000 damage. I'm second top tank, but the aim of that game was to show you how to spot. Now, I'm doing the same thing here in the Type 62. But the idea of this clip is not to show you what I'm doing, it's to show you how not to spot. And contrast that with what I've just shown you. Keep your eye on the SP1C. Now, this is what you call YOLOing. He's got a fast, light tank who he thinks he's got to go running through the center in front of all of us. And I put a shot in, he spots me. He gets a shot into me, I put a second shot in, and then he gets absolutely wrecked, and there's only a minute gone. That is not how you spot. So, taking into account that the idea of a light tank is not to be on the front line, and you're not meant to go YOLOing, this is me rolling out in the VK28 yet again, this time on Normandy. Now, because it's a supremacy game, I looked at the team map and decided that they're all going to go to probably D, which they've done. So I'm going to take the C cap, and then I'm going to hot tail it out of there. And I'm going to go completely back to where I started, just like this. Because I'm in a light tank, guys. If I go in front of the D cap, I'm going to be wasted. Now, okay, I didn't spot them up there. I'm now spotted, but it's okay. I can reset my camo on the move because I'm in a light tank. I'm going to go down, go past the A cap because I know where they are. They're not at the A because we weren't engaged. I saw them capping on the D cap, so I know they're all up there, and there they all are. I'm spotted again, but again because I'm moving, my camo resets, except when I'm on a proximity. Now, because I'm so mobile, I am allowed to get up and try and take away this base at B. But I need to make sure I've got plenty of cover. I go in, I take a pop shot, I can't take the base, so I'm going to reposition and try and maneuver myself out of harm's way, which I do. That then allows me to go in and take the base, which I then try to do. There's all the other ones. I can get shots onto him over there. Okay, someone has just taken a pot shot at me. That's the Kuru. Not a problem. We'll cap out B, and then I'm going to hobtail it out again, using that mobility, using my camo reset to try and get around the back of this Kuru. Now, I can circle to death this Kuru because my mobility is a lot better than his gun traverse. And this is what exactly I'm going to do. I'm going to use how mobile this tank is to give this Kuru a world of pain. He is gone. So, we've taken 2 bases. Okay, we've had a little bit of our hit points taken away. We've taken out a tank. They've only got 2 tanks left. We know where they are. I'm going to come round. I'm going to try and put a shot into him, miss him completely. Somebody else takes him. I'm going to sit here because it's game over. The main thing you need to remember is this. Just because you're in a fast, mobile tank doesn't mean to say you have to rush straight into the enemy and get blown away. You need to be aware of 2 things. The minimap and the team makeup. So, I know, and look at this. In one movement, I have spotted almost half, in fact, over half of the enemy team. Now, I'm going to get out of there. I have no intention of staying anywhere near them. Okay, everybody's going to complain at me. They're shouting report and do this. I've just spotted up almost the entire red team, apart from 2, I think it is. I'm now going to cap a base. There's a third, there's one of the 2, and there's another one missing, and I know it's a stug, so I'm guessing he's in the TD position. What I'm now going to do, therefore, I'm not going to go and join that battle. I've left my team there to join that battle. It's not my fault my team are not able to utilize what I've just given them. They are stronger tanks than me. I'm here with another light. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to look for that Stug. There he is. I spot the Stug. I'm now going to give the Stug a bit of a hard time. Unbeknown to me, and I didn't know it was an MT-25. There's an MT-25 going to come through in a minute and give me a hard time because he's a light tank also. So I'm trying to get around this Stug. The MT-25 hurts my track and knocks me for 6, which means it's very difficult for me to circle to death the Stug. But I finally do it because that's the way you can do these things. I take out a tank. Now the MT-25 is rushing towards me, which he's after the kill. I put one into him. I'm going to get round him. He's going to put one into me. I'm doing a hit point trade here, but I know that I'm going to get away with it. So here we go, and the MT-25 is gone. I've only got 128 hit points left. There are 4 tanks still out there, and they've got all the bases. It's 3 against 4. But I know it's not a problem. We've capped the C base, which means the A base should now be cleared. I'm hoping. If not, we're going to go round there, we're going to try and spot up who's round there, and we're going to try and either A, take them out, or B, get that cap. One of the two. A lot of things in Blitz, you have to remember, also depends on your team. And if your team don't do what you expect them to do, then it's pretty difficult, to be fair. You can only play the best game you can play. So whilst all these hints and tips may help, it's still a very teamwork dependent game. And if your team doesn't pull together, guys, it makes it a lot harder. Anyway, back to this game. So the thing about these light tanks, now it's 2 lights against a medium, realistically here. And we've got to be careful because the medium can wipe us out. And I can see from the minimap that the other 2 are coming in, which means there's a 3rd tank missing and I don't know where he is. I'm going to try and take out this Sherman. There he is. Let me get... Oh, I get a shot onto him, but it's only a lowish roll because it's a light tank. And now I've still got my 128 hit points, as you see. I'm going to get out of there. I'm getting my backside away from that tank. We're losing on cap points. I'm going to take him out. That allows us to bring it back, but we need to cap desperately. It's that simple. I'm going to try and help out with this Churchill now, but... You know, they're on 800 and something cap points. We're only on 700. It's pretty difficult. The Sherman goes. It's 3 against 1. It's all over. We lose. But the fact of the matter is this. Don't go rushing in because only fools rush in. And when you rush in with a light, you will get punished. Now, I'm desperately trying to... We've got... it's just not happening. I needed to try and get shots on him. We needed to cap. But that's how it goes sometimes in Supremacy. And I'd just like to point out, the AMX did a fantastic game there. And that's how you should be looking to play the lights. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, though. If it was an encounter battle, yeah, I mean, we both played the light tanks correctly. And that's the general gist of this video. As I said at the beginning, you've got great mobility, fantastic mobility. You've actually got pretty decent spotting. You've got a pretty decent gun, although it will not churn out massive damage. And you've got fantastic camo. But that doesn't mean you have to go running around the battlefield like a demented idiot straight into the enemy's fire. That is the last thing you want to do. Driving light tanks is a completely different skill to driving some of the other tanks. The reason being is because when you get it wrong massively. And every single man and his dog will penetrate you, wreck you, and send you back to the garage. You've got to learn that you need to retreat more than you push forward. In fact, in a light tank, the more you retreat, the better are your chances. There will be occasions when you need to push, when you've got tank destroyers and other tanks that you can circle to death. But don't go rushing in. Your camo won't help you when you're only 2 feet away from a big enemy tank. It just won't assist. And I see it in so many games that people in lights get suckered into getting into a brawl. And if you get into a brawl with a bigger tank, you're gonna get wrecked and deleted. But on the same token, don't sit at the back petrified. You are a scout. You have got the speed, the mobility, and the camo profile to rush around using cover, try and anticipate where the team on the enemy side is going to be, try and work out your best spot on your map for you to stay into cover, yet still spot them up, and then move in. But don't go rushing headlong straight into them. And then get out of there. Get out of there and support your team then. Because you go from a scout to being a support role. And that's exactly what you should be looking to do. You should be looking to scout followed by support. And support doesn't mean going camp. These tanks aren't necessarily made to be sat still. That is why their camo profiles are exactly the same when they're moving as they are when they're stationary. There's a point to that, and the point is you're meant to be mobile and you're meant to be moving as much as possible. Obviously on occasion you need to sort of sit back and you need to get behind cover because tanks are going to try and wreck you. But remember, don't go rushing in. Use the ability to spot. You've got great view ranges. Once you've spotted, get out of there. And then use that gun from a distance to support the rest of your team. A lot also depends on the team playing. I get that, I understand that, and you know that as well. Or you should know that. Don't forget, when the matchmaker puts together the teams, they give you a mix and match. Tank destroyers, lights, mediums, and possibly heavies. Each one of those tanks has a role. And if you're in a light tank, your role is as the scout, followed by support. There's no point you going rushing headlong into a shed load of enemy guns. You're going to get wrecked. And as much as you've got great mobility, it's just as good as getting you into trouble as it is in getting you out of trouble. Don't couple that with the fact that, yes, your camo profile is fantastic, it's brilliant. And don't forget, this is just the basic, guys. This is the basics video. And on the basics of this video is this. 1. Don't rush in. Only fools rush in. You will get eliminated. 2. Use your camo and your camo profile to its maximum effect. Don't camp. Don't try and sort of snipe, because these tanks don't like to operate that way. They like to operate whereby they're mobile, they're resetting their camo literally all the time, and they are being an absolute nuisance. Because by being a nuisance, it allows your team to focus fire on the enemy team, because you will annoy them and they want to wreck you. 3. Get yourself always in a place where there's ample cover, because if there's not ample cover, you're going to get wrecked. It's simple as that. Now, if there's a KV2 on this team, in fact, that SU, if he were to turn his tank, I'm gone. It's as simple as that. You know, you do not have the armor to push. You do not have the armor to be front line. And I see so many people in light tanks just want to just go rushing straight ahead, spot the enemy, and then get wasted by all 7 guns pointing at them. And then they turn around and say, oh, but I spotted, why didn't you do anything? Because you spotted like a complete muppet, basically. There's no point you go rushing in. Take your time. Absolutely take your time. Know your map, know your enemy, know your tank. These are fundamentals. There are plenty of tools out there to allow you to do this. Use them. Get onto Armor Inspector. Get onto Blitz Hanger. Get onto Map Inspector also. Learn about your tanks. Because the more you know about the tank, the more you know about the map, the easier it really becomes. This game is actually really a difficult game. There are so many parameters. There are 4 different tank types. There's lights, mediums, heavies, and TDs. Even within those 4 types, every tank has a different parameter. They all have different camo profiles, different engines, different guns, different armor profiles, different ammunition, different damage, different everything. You need to understand your tank. If you don't understand your tank, then believe me, you know, you've lost half the battle, because you don't know what your tank is capable of. You don't understand its weaknesses and you don't understand its strengths. It takes next to no time to get onto Blitz Hanger, find your tank and read about it. You know, it's not War and Peace. It's half a page. It's like a page of A4. Know the gun depression, know its reload times, know the ammunition it fires, and what damage it does and what penetration it does. Once you know the penetration, get yourself onto the Armor Inspector. Again, put your tank up against another tank and see if you can pen it. You never know. See what can pen you. Get used to it. Get into the training rooms. They're there for a reason, guys. Get into the training rooms. Get to know the maps. If you're in a clan, get your clan mates to help you in a training room. I mean, there is, in my clan, I hold every Wednesday a training session, and we go through each line of tanks. Lights, mediums, heavies, and TDs. We go through them. That way, the newer players get to understand the mechanics of each tank, and that is important, because we all sit there as players saying, oh, he's a noob, you're an idiot, learn to play, blah, blah, blah. It's your obligation, if you like this game, to help your fellow players out. Some of them don't want to listen to you, I get that. But there's no harm in you giving them little tips every now and then. What's the point? Why don't you? And then together, once you've done all that, you will start to understand how lights should be played. And believe me, once you understand how they should be played properly, you will absolutely love them. Anyway, guys, if you take anything away from this, take away this. Be mobile. Don't go rushing in. Use the camo profile to the maximum effect. Spot for your team, and then get out of there and support. Don't camp, just support. Well, that's it, guys. By all means, send me in your replays. Usual address, fugitsblitz@gmail.com. I hope this video has been useful. And until the next time, stay safe out there, have fun on the battlefield, and happy tanking, because that's what it's all about. Fun and happiness.